Hey, everybody, welcome. I am not here alone today. I'm super excited about this because this has been a long time coming. I have here my special guest, Miss Bri'el, as I like to call her. So, some of you have met Miss Bri'el, some of you have not. But just so you know, she is a marketing professional, community maven, turned full time notary and loan signing agent. She's based out of Atlanta. And we are just going to talk about kind of what's been going on this year, plans for the new year, where her business is going, how her transition has been, all the things, and plus whatever else comes up. Because when we start talking, we start talking.
We start talking.
So welcome, Miss Bri'el. How you been?
I've been good. Thanks for having me again. We've been texting about this for quite some time and just trying to get back on here. So I was just like, let's do a Zoom chat. Like, even though we live like 10 minutes away from each other, it's fine.
I know. And I already told you when I'm on like YouTube, for instance, and I'm giving an update, basically people are like, okay, we have enough of you. Where Miss Bri'el at? That's what they tell me. So I'm really excited that we're here. Like I said, it's been forever. So
yes, it has.
We're meeting virtually for other reasons, but we here. We made it.
We are here.
Yeah. For those of you who are not aware, the notary business or getting into the notary business, that's what we've been talking about on YouTube a lot. And it's an interesting journey. It can be very lucrative at times. Other times, that side hustle can really be stressful. Like
it can be hustling.
Girl,
hustle is a hustle.
It is a true hustle between the getting appointments, dealing with clients, dealing with people and humans in general can be crazy. But Bri'el, has there been anything lately, for instance, that has kind of made you second guess your notary business or made you think about getting out?
Not necessarily getting out, but I would say dealing with these signing services is just something else. And, I think in a past video, we talked about SnapDocs, and that's just really been my bread and butter for a lot of, signings and just my ways of getting, the experience. I've had like a bunch of debt settlements, which I know is kind of taboo. Some people don't feel comfortable doing that, but I don't have an issue with it. Some refis, really simple stuff, just to get your feet wet. And I know that, a lot of new notaries have issues with getting with SnapDocs and SnapDocsing and things, but, I've been fortunate to have them. And so, but I think the thing is, it's the pay with these signing services. And I think there's kind of like this gray area with notary and how much you can get paid, because, I see in Facebook groups, like, you need to be reasonable, but you're a small business. Like, if you're doing this full time and you kind of have the, wherewithal to kind of set your own rates within reason, within, state laws, you kind of do that. And, I think you just have to get comfortable with it. There's never going to be a perfect answer. And I know Tiffany and I have had many a text conversations. And I'm like, oh, I feel like I'm expensive. But then at the same time, it's like, well, I got to get it, but it's worth it in some instances. And I think knowing your price for general notary, knowing your price with these signing services, kind of find a happy medium in between them, because it's like, with debt settlements, for example, those are typically 65.
Okay.
So, but they could be upwards to 80. And that really just depends. Like, I've had one, I think it was the day before Christmas Eve, I had one for $80. And that was the first one for $80. And it was right around the corner. And I was like, he was rude. He didn't want to read it. He was just like, I just want to sign this and get it over with. I'm like,
okay.
That works for me. In and out real quick. But others where they've been typically 65, that's fine too. But I think it's just really between the signing services and your pricing, that's where, you just kind of get stuck in this rut of like, I don't know what to charge. I don't feel comfortable charging this, or I know I deserve this. but I'm scared. You know, you just kind of have to play around with it. And that's
Yeah. Because, you know, and like you said, we've talked about that. You know, I have a segment of clients who I will no longer take because they're crazy. And for the service that we're providing, which is a service of convenience, and we are getting in the car, sometimes when it's cold, sometimes when it's hot, sometimes when it's raining, and we are driving miles to you and then sitting with you and going through these documents. If I ask for $40 and I'm sitting with you for 30 minutes because you didn't print something out and you didn't do this, and then you got to go get the kid from upstairs, why is that an issue? Why is that an issue? And, you know, I've passed a couple of people on to you. We talked about that. Certain segment of the population, I will no longer pass to you. I will let them know that they are outside of the service area. But that finding the balance between what you're charging and what people are willing to pay, it's a dance. It really is a dance. And you mentioned something with like SnapDocs and some of these other signing agencies about the lower pay that they tend to offer for certain things, especially for newer notaries, because there's a hierarchy. What's the lowest price you've accepted for a signing?
I mean, that would be 25. And that's typically witness, because Georgia, for those that don't know, is an attorney state. So we can't even do loan closings on our own versus other states that a notary can do the whole shebang. So for the witnessing, we get 25. At least I've always gotten 25 for witnessing. That's the lowest. There are times when I negotiate and I typically get it, but you know, 25 is fine, but I use that as a learning opportunity, because with these loan documents and these closings, you're able to really see these attorneys walk through these things, and you're able to know which documents you can do on your own and which documents you can't. So I had a kind of like a refinance on my own. I think it was like the day after Christmas. Christmas was really good for me. Like day before Christmas Eve, on Christmas Eve, day after Christmas, I was rolling. And I was able to do that one on my own with certain docs. It was only the docs that I could do as a notary without needing an attorney. But on Christmas Eve, there was, you know, I had a client who was from Massachusetts visiting his in-laws for the holiday, and I was able to do that closing with the attorney on the phone. That was my first time doing a closing with an attorney, kind of present, but, you know, not really present. And that was $180. So it was great. It was 2 different loans. It was easy, no problems. And I think it was really 180 because it was like Christmas Eve, but that's okay. I'm gonna take it. So
yeah, that's really good fee.
That's a really good fee. So you can really land on a couple of good things, but I think instead of worrying about how much they're wanting to pay you, really use that as a learning opportunity to learn how to do these signings, learn what these documents are, and just think of it as good experience, because you just never know. Because when you get it on your own, then you're like, oh, okay, I remember this from, you know, something I got in SnapDocs or something from Coast to Coast or whatever the case may be. So, you know, I just accept it within reason, because if you're far out, I'm not going. I'm very selective. I mean, I like to earn as much as I can, but also, you know, it's just me and my daughter. So I'm not going to put myself in, you know, sticky situations where I got to go find a babysitter, drop her off. I ain't got time for that. So
I feel you
know, I don't want to call anybody out, but I've been getting text messages, and I don't know if you've gotten these, Tiffany, but loan modifications for $40.
I have, and I have politely declined.
They're always, I don't even respond. Boonies. Always in the boonies. So if you live in the boonies in Georgia, become a notary, because they need you. They need you.
I'm like, who is driving? Like, I can't even think of some of the city names where I'm like, this ain't even
like White, Georgia.
Yeah. It doesn't sound like anywhere I need to be.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
I'm just saying.
I don't want to go. Not for $40.
Yeah,
Not
like,
for $40.
I can't do nothing before, like I can do something with $40 if I'm going 15 minutes down the street and I'm getting paid cash. That's almost a tank of gas, you know. That's a sushi order. But $40 to go to White, Georgia, that's a no for me. It's a no. But you know, it's an interesting journey. And like you said, it's all about learning what you will accept and what you won't accept, what you want to charge, where your ideal client is located, because you're in marketing. You know about this. I have kind of picked up on this from, you know, working alongside some marketing people. That whole ideal client profile thing, it is real no matter what your business is. I have an ideal client profile. You have an ideal client profile. And sometimes we just have clients that aren't ideal, and it is okay for you to turn down a client. I have fired clients, and this goes beyond the notary business because, you know, with Pitch, we write resumes, we worked on LinkedIn pages, interview prep, that sort of thing. I've had to fire a client or two because their expectations did not meet what we discussed. Their responsiveness did not meet what it was supposed to be. And so like any other business, even like a notary appointment, if you can't communicate and you're not meeting certain deadlines or telling me to be there at 3, and now I'm sitting outside your house and you're talking about you can't be there till 4:30, I'm sorry, this is not going to work. I don't care that this is urgent for you, or you're saying it's urgent for you, but you're not doing what you need to do. So now this is interesting. You made some updates to your business recently as far as booking was concerned, because that booking deposit is a game changer. You won't get people playing around if you have to put down a deposit to book. Now, how's that going for you? I know the answer, but tell the people.
Oh my gosh, just yesterday. So this is something, y'all, I've been like sitting on. So I went into full hairstylist mode. I was like, listen, if you're serious, you're going to pay something to hold your appointment. And I feel like, I don't know if I'm the only notary that does this or if other notaries are hip, but I highly suggest this, because when you're working between signing services and general notary, your time is kind of all over the place. And so you could get a signing, because you know how signing services work. You get your text message and you're like, oh, that works. And if you get assigned, you gotta, depending on what time it is, you gotta scramble and make sure docs are printed and do all of this other stuff. I don't like that. So for me, especially with general notary appointments, I need to have you on the calendar. That's the only way. My daughter is a competitive cheerleader, so my schedule is pretty tight. So if you want me to notarize, I'm happy to do it, but you gotta get some money on the book so that I can hold your appointment and I know to be there. And so what I did recently, I updated my website and finally put a price list on there, because again, me and Scary just naming prices and just being pretty terrified at my prices. But at the same time, I really had to do some math and make sure the math was mathing. So I was like, okay, Tiffany, $15 to hold us, to schedule an appointment, which thing, it's fine. You know, Tiffany's my supporter in the back corner, right? And so I was like, okay. And then we were toying around with mileage, because, you know, with Notary Gadget, we use that. You put in the address and, you know, you have kind of like your set thing based on zip code. And I noticed in Notary Gadget, like when you're doing certain zip codes, it's kind of the same, for the same price for each different zip code. So you can kind of like pull a spreadsheet and just know how much, what zip code it's going to be. Like I went real deep into it. And I was like, okay, screw that, because not everybody's going to give me their address off top, even though I have that in my Calendly, like, give me your address. Try to make it as streamlined as possible. And Tiffany was like, well, just do a flat fee. I was like, you're right. So I did the median, you know, just the average. I was like, okay, $10. So my kind of schedule or charge sheet or whatever you want to call it is $15 to book. It's non-refundable. You do not get that money back. It sits in my PayPal just in case you do, you know, want to screw things up. But, you know, just, you know, you just never know. And because there might be, you know, I'm a very nice person. There might be something where I'm like, okay, for the most part on the website, you don't get that back.
Right.
And then after, because to me, if you pay the $15, I'm definitely coming. Like, I'm not going to screw you over. Like, I'm coming. I would never do that anyway, but I'm really going to do that if you pay me $15.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I do my call. I just confirm the appointment, ask some questions about the documents, and just make sure I give them, you know, the price. I still link it in my Calendly where you can see how much each kind of document costs. That's the service fee. Mileage, I don't charge mileage for my zip code that I live in. Yes. So just trying to do better about keeping note of what things were. Kind of going to stop using Cash App and Venmo if I can. Try, even though I like it.
I think you can, because, you know, I try not to take cash either. I hate having cash, period.
Yeah.
I don't know. I got to look at this. I got some ones sitting right here. I don't know when I got these, what they're from, probably from a notary appointment. I don't know what to do with that. I
pocket the cash.
See, and that's the thing is, you know, you want to keep your finances separate. When someone hands me cash, I used to be really good about going to the bank. I have a little bag, I zip up the money and I go to the bank, but that money just sits there. And then I end up using it for something like going to the beauty supply store. Like it's just there.
Mine's McDonald's money. So
you know, it gets used, but having that record is key. Yes. And it makes you more disciplined with keeping the money separate. That I can tell you for sure.
True, but here's the thing. I'm a true millennial. I don't, for my business account, I don't have like a go inside bank. I don't use one of those. So for me, the cash is my cash. I still mark it, but like if it's substantial, then I'm literally depositing that into my personal, and I'm like paying myself back essentially.
Okay.
So that way, you know, I still have that money electronically, but if it's not a lot, I'm keeping it. Because at some point it's going to get used in some form or fashion personally. And, you know, it's just me, and the money is not as consistent as far as how much I know I'm bringing in. So sometimes it's just needed. I
think it's okay for the accountants who are listening. You know, we're working on it. Yes. So it's something we get better at. Now, I think both of us have LLCs, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So both of us have LLCs. So there is some level of protection there and having things separate. Yeah. Now, I know what my accountant and advisor would say. So that's why I try not to take cash as well. And we're going to get into the whole tax thing a little later. We're going to wait to dive into, you see the look of being frightened. That's how it was for me the first time. But we're going to come back to that topic. You know, shifting a little bit, because the notary thing can be like a whole black hole. We could talk about that for days. Okay.
Oh, yes.
We're going to backtrack. Before you even really got into the notary thing, you made that leap. You made that transition. Oh, the transition, right? So let's talk about that a little bit. So you're working for a pretty prominent law firm here in Atlanta. I'm familiar with this firm because one of my employers has used that firm. I've known about them for years. And I also worked for a law firm for a year. I couldn't make it a day past a year. I would never do it again. No shade to the attorneys out there. I know some pretty amazing attorneys who have started firms, and I'm sure that they don't operate in this manner. Right. But I'm very aware of the type of fuckery that happens inside the walls of a law firm.
Oh, right? Good, because we can curse. This is the whole part.
You know, topic. I'm a lady, but I occasionally swear like a sailor. It's okay. This is a safe space, right? So I want you to tell us a little bit about your less than pleasant departure, because, you know, you and I worked together on this. You don't have to get into all the details or anything, but what really was the moment that made you say, I'm done with this, I'm out? You're feeling kind of what your plans were in your head. Because, you know, I'm the queen of quitting a job without another job. I have done it more than once, and I would do it again if need be. So, like, what was your aha moment where you said, F this, I'm out?
I think my aha moment was knowing how empty I felt inside. and when my child noticed it too.
Okay. Now that's
And yeah, when your kid, your 9-year-old can be like, Mom, like something's up. And you're not really able to see the light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah.
I think that for me was just kind of like that light bulb, like, I can't do this. Like, I have to be okay, not only for myself, but for my kid too.
Yeah.
And, I just felt like it wasn't worth it. I felt like I did everything that I could. You know, I hate to say it, but it wasn't necessarily my job because I give 125%, if not more,
Right.
to my role. It was definitely something that was more personal, but I have been planning this for quite some time.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think for a lot of people, the pandemic just kind of opened a lot of people's eyes to how people really are and how situations can be and what you really value. So I think for me, I was just able to see that and realize that there is more out there, and that if I didn't take the leap, that I would be remiss and very unhappy. And, unfortunately, the worst could possibly happen.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to see what that would be. So I had to make a move. And I don't really talk about it. Like, my close friends know about it.
Yeah.
It's something I haven't necessarily felt comfortable talking about, so to speak. I do know that it's something I will eventually when I kind of finally heal from it.
Yeah.
But I don't think I'm 100% healed from it. It's definitely left me jaded. It's definitely made me be traumatized from actually getting back into work, because part of me, I have my moments where you're just like, well, shoot, that steady income, I really miss that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
at the same time, I do know that I don't want it to be at the detriment of my mental health, at, the detriment of just not being who I am. And I've just been really fearful of that. Notary is not easy, and it's definitely not as easy in an attorney state.
Right.
Because I'm not pulling in some of that West Coast money that some of these loan signing agents
These $10,000 months people be talking about. I'm like, how?
Listen, how? It's possible, but you really have to be crazy about this industry. And with me, I'll be in it a year in January.
Damn,
I don't know.
So crazy.
Yeah.
It is about to be a year.
It's about to be a year for me. So I don't know. And, I loved it because I am the queen of getting the most done with the least amount of work, but making the most money.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the way it's supposed to be.
And I really feel like that is Notary. But at the same time, one of the things, and I know we're going to talk about goals, but like one of the things is just kind of like marketing myself. And as much as I am into marketing, I have a hard time putting myself out there. I can put
I know.
people out there.
Talked about it. We've talked about it.
That is something that is really hard for me. And I think in 2022, like, I'm popping my shit.
Listen,
y'all about to know.
I'm here for
y'all
it.
Are about to know.
Because Miss Bri'el has, and I know this because I've seen the resume, I've seen the work, like I've had the conversations with you, and this ties into the work that Pitch focuses on as well. Sometimes it really is a struggle to put your shit on paper. Like people do so much work, and then when you ask someone, like, what do? You go blank. And I get it. I do it too. People talk about imposter syndrome. That has been a word of 2020 and continued into 2021. It's probably going to continue into 2022 and forever and beyond, because it's something that people always have dealt with, and it didn't really have a term, I don't think, until maybe the last year or two. But that's what you were going through. I read your resume and I was like, bitch, you got a whole career. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? So, it's I get it. Just all of that to say, I get it. And that just makes me think of someone I am hoping to talk to soon, a young lady I worked with recently she gave me her resume. She wanted to do some updates. She told me where she wanted to take her career. And I'm reading her resume and I'm like, first of all, you need to be making a lot more than you're making right now. This is what you do. I'm asking details and she's telling me the details of what's on her resume. And I'm like, why isn't that on here? Why isn't that on here? Why isn't that on here? Turned around, gave her a brand new resume. She just secured a $40,000 pay increase.
Oh my gosh.
Exactly what she wants to do. This shit's crazy. So yeah, that's all amazing. Of that to say, when you're ready, if you ever want to be ready to go back out there, you will have no problem. I can tell you that. And then that whole being jaded situation, I've told you my situation from my previous employer, certified shit show. Okay. I won't get into any details, but certified shit show, didn't even give a 2-week notice. I don't work here anymore. Good day to you. That's how that goes. Right. And sometimes there are situations like that you just have to get out of. And I am still mentally healing from that situation. I talk about it to this day and it makes me angry to this day. It's awful because the shit was 2 years ago, if not a little more. Yeah. But those types of situations in those very toxic environments, they linger and they sit with you and they impact how you receive new people, how you receive people already in your life. And it's life altering, maybe for the better, because you will peep the BS in the workplace, especially from the beginning, from here on out.
Listen, the intuition, right? The third eye, your intuition, your gut, whatever you want to, your source, whatever you call it. It was just like flag. And like, basically, you know, you hear that voice and it's like, bitch, if you don't get the fuck out of here. I'm telling you,
get out, run, save yourself.
Can we insert the whole picture of him, like, from Get Out? Like, literally, it was one of those moments. Yeah. And I don't regret it. You know, like, I'm still figuring it out. And I've had to give myself so much grace of just allowing myself to figure it out. You know, there are days where I'm just like, I don't know how things are going to get done, but they do. And, you know, who knows? I'm done trying to map out my life in such a way that, you know, is, you know, just kind of like regimented. Like, I just don't want to do that. And I've gotten so comfortable in just my freedom, like just waking up and having my coffee and, you know, doing my work, accepting signings, dropping my child off at school, being able to pick her up. I mean, this was 2019 when I just told the universe, I was like, I just want to pick up my child from school without having to send her to aftercare.
Listen.
And then the pandemic happened and we was both at home and we're not that great of coworkers, but we made it work. And then
y'all have not met Miss Bri'el's daughter, but I won't say her name because I'll give her some, you know, privacy. But she is one of the most mature young ladies I have ever met in my entire life. Like, she's more mature than she's more mature than some of the adults I know.
Yes.
So that is hilarious to me because I feel like she really is your coworker.
She is. She's like literally my little best friend. And we act like sisters half the time, like not even mother and daughter. But, you know, she's everything to me. And, you know, I was like, okay, girl, I'm about to buy you a desk and a computer. You about to go to your space. I'm going to my space. We can't, because I'm going to be worried about what you're doing and you not know what you're supposed to be doing. So like, she's like, Mom. And I'm like, I'm sorry, but I'm now seeing that you really don't be doing nothing. And I'm kind of questioning why
are you coming for her like that?
I told you we like
sisters.
Listen,
she's not here to defend herself, people. I'm gonna give a voice to the young lady.
Why she come in and just give me a look? She'll do that. She'll do that. And if she comes in, you're gonna see it on my face.
I know.
She is her mother.
She will judge you. But you know, see that light at the end of the tunnel that you're seeing now is awesome, because when you're in the thick of the shit, it is very hard to see the light. And I feel like your glow up has been so amazing. The opportunities that are going to come to you, they're coming. Like we've already talked about, it's coming. You've already had like these $180 signings $150 signings. Like, yes, there are going to be some of them that are those low budget signings, but they're all learning experiences. Even the BS that you went through with your previous employer is all a learning experience. It's something that you're going to take. So, you know, flipping this into a little bit more of a positive light, what have kind of been your major wins, or if you only have one, that's fine, as a notary?
I would say the streamlining aspect, just kind of having my Calendly set up, paying for Calendly, because that's clutch.
Yes.
Pay for your things that help you.
Yes.
If you don't pay for anything else, pay for the things that really help you, you know, streamline your business, so you don't have to put a lot of guesswork into things.
Automation is key.
It really is. And really getting comfortable with my prices. That's been like a huge win. And I think it was like, I saw something on Instagram from Lori Swank, and she was just like, the price is the price. Like, repeat after me. The price is the price. Like, if you don't want to pay it, that's fine. Like, I've had so many calls where they're like, you know, are you available today? What's your price? And I'm like, X dollars. And they're like, okay, I'll call you back, and don't call back. And I'm like, okay, cool. I don't have time, because you need me.
Facts.
You need me.
And that should resonate throughout your life. You need me. Yeah.
You need me. So, you know, it's not my fault you waited to the last minute, or, you know, I wish people would understand that notaries, you gotta have one in your corner, because people, I think it was my P.O. box thing I noticed that needed to be notarized. And I'm like, God dang it. Like, you don't realize what documents need to be notarized.
Nobody needs a notary until they need a notary. That's how
right. So like, always have like someone in your back pocket, just so y'all know, like, have a notary in your back pocket. But, you know, I'm not leaving the house without money being deposited in my account. First and foremost.
I'm thinking of doing that. I think I might take a page from your book.
Listen, it has to be worth it. Biden ain't lowered these gas prices. Listen, I'm not driving unless you're serious, okay? And you're going to keep your appointment because you've already paid money. Right. Like, if you think about it in that mind frame, you can't go wrong. Like, I hope other notaries are doing it, but if you haven't, I would consider it. You don't have to charge how much I am, but I mean, when PayPal gets it, it's not the full 15. So just know, make sure you're comfortable. They're gonna get their cut. You know, just make sure you're comfortable with it. But yeah, and referrals.
Referrals are key.
Thank you, Tiffany. Tiffany keeps me busy, y'all. Like,
you're welcome, because
for real.
You know, I had to press pause a little bit there to gather myself and recalibrate. So I am always more than happy to send referrals your way, because you got it together. I send that Calendly link and they're like, thank you so much.
And they book.
They book.
And I am not that notary that's just like, oh yeah, sure, I'm available. Like, I can come now. I do not run my life like that. My friends will tell you, like, even for dinner dates, what are we getting on the calendar? Schedule in advance, so I get my mind right.
I love the calendar. Some of my friends who may be listening, they be real judgy when I say, where's the calendar invite? Because I'm not going to remember this. And this group text situation, can you come? Can you not come? Put it on the calendar, and then it's serious. Put it on the calendar so I know it's real. So
send me an e-bite. Yes. Whatever. Just put it on the calendar.
I agree.
Book with me.
100%. And so, you know, right now, today's the last day of 2021, right? So it's the last day of 2021, which is ridiculous. Although 2021 has been giving big 2020 vibes, you know, we're going to leave the shenanigans behind, right? We're going to stop giving energy to the shenanigans and the fuckery. And we're going into 2022 with open eyes and open hearts and with new vision, right? So do you have any major, whether it's personal or business goals for 2022?
Definitely definitely a lot of personal goals that I won't discuss. because they personal.
Yeah.
I stopped doing resolutions and switched to intentions
Oh,
because for me, resolutions are kind of lofty because of just how my mind works, but an intention is more concrete to me.
okay. Right
So
on. Shed light
my
to people.
intention, yes, my intention is to treat my business like a business. And like I need to start clocking time, even though I'm not paying myself right now, but I
Mhm.
really need to start clocking my time and just seeing how much time and just kind of getting on a schedule, whether that's, creating content, which I really want to get consistent at. Tiffany and the people have been asking me to get on YouTube.
Yes.
Um,
We waiting.
I know, but back to the thing of talking about yourself or talking to yourself, that's hard for me.
Mhm.
Um, so I actually started blogging like 1 month and I have videos. Then my phone was like, you got too much going on. So
Okay.
I just need to sit down with it and just really be focused and, for real about that. As I said, popping my shit off 2022. We're gonna just go ahead and nickname 20 it as 22. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna say 2022
Yeah. Yeah.
because
Yeah.
that's it's a little, it makes me feel some type of way.
Yeah.
Um, marketing myself direct, that was another win. And back to referrals that, a previous coworker of mine put me in touch with someone that she works with that needs a mobile notary to do permits and just like someone to do things. And so at the
Yes.
beginning of the year, gave my price, and they're like, okay, I'll send you a zip file of everybody that needs to, get this taken care of. And I'm like, so I'm
Yes.
working with that and just continuing to learn. Like, shout out to Notary. I still got like 36. I've completed a course like 36%. I actually just forgot my login. I just
Mm.
need to remember my login so I can
It's okay.
do that
Okay.
course. But just being more present with every facet of my life, I think is one of my intentions and my goals for 22.
Okay. Now
Mhm.
that's I really like that you're calling it your intentions for
Yeah.
2022. I never really thought about it that way, but I think that is a more reasonable way to look at things because everyone can't keep up with resolutions. Like that makes it feel like it's something that's kind of hard to reach now that I think
Hmm.
about it. Even though I
Hmm.
called mine resolutions, I think I like the intentions. I'm gonna steal that. Mine are very small. Like I want to read 15 minutes a day, whether it's before bed or in the morning. I need to be more physically active because I literally sit all day and stare at my computer. And that's as simple as me jumping rope for 15
Hmm.
minutes. We'll doing that 500 skips a day, however long it takes me to do that. 500 to
Hmm.
1,000, because I got really good results with doing that and
Mm.
doing some at-home workouts last year. I lost about 15 pounds over the holidays.
Okay.
I may or may not have gained all of those 15 pounds
It's
back this
okay.
year, but
It's okay.
now that I know I've done it, I can do
Yes.
it again.
Yes.
I bought an elliptical off of next door from somebody down the
Okay.
street, paid $100 for that. And we're not going to talk about how many times I've used said elliptical, but I have it, right? So,
Right.
setting goals and like you said, being more intentional, but for me, being consistent, like you said. And
Yes.
also, I want to be more consistent with my content as well, because
Hmm.
I got a whole bunch of stuff I want to talk about. It's just doing this and getting it on paper, which I will say I started off the year right or ended the year right, making a list of things and kind of planning out my content. This
Mm.
this is being really this has been really helpful.
Yeah.
And so that's something that I think you can do too. That will be
Yeah.
very helpful because people have told me that before, like to sit down and plan. And I'm like, I just kind of get up and talk about what I want to talk about on whatever day. But no,
No.
like
Yeah.
you got to plan, just like with anything
Yeah.
else. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail, right? We've been hearing that
Yeah.
for years.
Yeah.
So, that's something that life and time have taught me, which takes me to my next question for you. This is a good one. So, like, what has been sort of your biggest challenge this year? And kind of what's the biggest life lesson that you're taking into 2022?
Hmm. Planning
Mm,
on all aspects. whether that's financial planning, whether that is, you know, just planning to be somewhere like outside of Notary. I am like a super volunteer. So I do a lot of community service. Like, for those that don't know, I am knee deep into Girl Scouts.
Yes.
Knee deep. It's almost cookie season. So like, you know, like just knowing like I'm a troop leader. So I got Girl Scout meetings. I got 6 girls I'm responsible for and, you know, empowering. And then, you know, I have other organizations I'm a part of, and just really setting aside time to give my all to still, and not being so burnt out. Because, you know, when, you know, I left my employer, you know, I was like, oh, I'm good. Like I literally rested for like a month. Like I was like, I'm not doing shit.
Mhm.
But then it was just like, you know, reality sets in, your bills do not stop. Um, and it's just like, okay, I really gotta figure this out. Like I gotta figure out how to make this work within reason, but still, you know, being consistent in some
Yeah.
weird type of fashion, but also not putting a lot of pressure on myself. Because, you know, you can get into the mind frame of, you know, wanting to do it all and doing it all, and you're still in the same spot you were when you had your job or when you were working. And it's just like, gosh, like I haven't learned anything. Like,
It's a
so
lot.
I think planning is huge. And, you know, setting aside those days where it's just like, okay, on Sundays I'm reviewing my budget, you know, I'm doing the laundry, I'm cleaning my house. Or, you know, on Mondays, like I know when I was working full time, you know, Mondays were my admin days. Like after the weekend, like I was not taking meetings. Like I had it blocked off. Like I'm doing all of the things to set myself up for the rest of the week.
Yeah.
So, you know, kind of treating my business like the business it is, like Mondays. Okay, what do I have going on for the week? What type of content I can create? You know, how can I schedule these posts? Because I'm on Instagram all day long personally,
Yeah.
but my business, it doesn't see anything. And, you know, I do kind of want to merge the two and start sharing like my business stuff on my personal, so that, because I have a lot of followers on my personal. But, you know, I also like the separation, but at the same time, I do
Yeah.
see like a lot of bloggers and stuff where they merge everything together. And I'm like, well, that kind of makes sense, because you don't have to worry about 2 different things. And I can get overwhelmed very, very easily. So I'm like,
Okay.
okay, I have to figure out some weird way to combine this and make it make sense. Because it's just like, you know, Notary is a part of my life. And I feel like I should be able to merge the two instead of really keeping them separate, besides your business
Yeah.
accounts. But, you know, when you're talking about things, because you never know, like your personal friends might have been thinking about wanting to be a notary. And I don't talk about that on my personal. So maybe, you know, sharing that information on my personal Instagram. Tiffany, you're really good at this, of just kind of merging all of the same type of content to 2 different audiences. So all that to say, I
Yeah.
gotta really just like sit down and be like, okay, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this, and stick to it. It's one thing
Sticking
to
to
write
it.
it
Key.
down
Yeah.
and say what you're gonna do, but you really gotta like see it and really be actionable.
You know, and you brought up an interesting topic there with the merging your content, right? You know, I keep mine separate. I compartmentalize things. Like same goes with like relationships with
Yeah.
friends. Like you can have different friend groups. Sometimes they
Yeah.
merge, sometimes they don't. But
Yeah.
like I keep pitch separate because not all of my friends would care about what I talk about on my pitch page,
Mhm.
right? And it
Yeah.
allows me to kind of have a focus. And
Yeah.
before, I never used to do anything personal on the pitch page.
Yeah.
And then I found that people wanted to kind of know me a little bit more. I don't know why, but they
Mhm.
did. So I would start showing little clips and people would interact with that. Like I
Mhm.
love showing my Christmas tree. Like the tree was
Mhm.
popping, and
It was
people
popping.
enjoy commenting on the Christmas tree, which by the way, it's still up because we've always kept ours up until New Year's Day. Like we turn it on.
Mine had to go.
What? That's a whole
I,
other debate. That's a whole another topic. Mine is up and it will be lit around 4 p.m. because it gets dark right now. But putting some personal into the business, I think has worked well and people enjoy that. Now with my personal page, that's my personal page.
Yeah.
I do share things from pitch to my personal page, not everything, but I do share some things from pitch to the personal page. But my personal page is private. It is completely locked down. I guess that's the HR in me. It's separate. Like no one can get to that. It's Fort Knox.
Yeah.
I have like 100 followers, something like that. So so I like to keep it separate.
Yeah.
And I mean, this is the thing other people don't think about is like you can have a page for each thing. I have a page for my notary business too. I hardly post anything to that, but I do have a page for it. And I am moving that page, I think, over slowly to my pitch page. I can keep them separate, but I am cross-sharing things from the notary page to my pitch page.
Yeah.
And then my last account is like my account for my dad, which is a whole nother topic. But, I have a page dedicated to sort of my caregiver journey. For those of you who don't know, my dad has dementia and he does reside with me, which is a whole shenanigans filled show in itself. So, there's a separate page for that. And I don't really cross share that. That is very focused and
personal.
People who follow. Yeah. And there are people who follow that who specifically want to know about that journey. But ultimately, the nice thing is that you can really make your business and your life what you want it to be, right? That is one of the lessons I've learned this year was I can do what the hell I want to do. I mean, to a certain extent, right? Professionally, personally.
You can do whatever the hell you want to do. Like, really, you really can.
You're right. And when you realize that, it changes things. And that kind of made me think about the greatest lesson I've learned this year was, people always tell you, you get out what you put into a situation, right? That's not always true. So I think one of the biggest lessons I've learned was that the world does not owe you understanding. The world does not owe me understanding. And the minute you understand that and realize that sometimes you're going to give more than you get, whether it's from people or, people at work, your friends, your significant or insignificant other, whatever, there are going to be times when things are out of balance, right?
Insignificant.
And, hey, they exist too.
Dang.
Exist too. So it's like that realization changed things for me. I think sometimes I have been a bit naive in life, thinking, it could be, oh my God, I'm such a great friend. And then someone tells me that I'm a shitty friend. And I feel devastated by things like that. I'm like, what do you mean? And when you realize that sometimes it just doesn't matter what you think that you've been doing this whole time or what you've put into a situation or think you've put into a situation, sometimes what you get back and how people feel about it and receive it is not going to match.
Oh, 100%.
Terms with that, and you've either got to adjust something or have better communication or adjust your own expectations.
Yeah.
Definitely mine.
Yeah, I think, just to kind of, connect that for me is like, I'm saying how I feel next year. I'm tired of holding in, my feelings. Like, I don't care how it makes you feel because I've spared your feelings for so long and it's hurt me because I'm frustrated with myself because I haven't said what needs to be said. So at this point, I'm just saying it. And, if it hurts your feelings, sorry, not sorry. Because, sometimes people's actions, like you said, they don't think about others. And, sometimes as bad as this is, they say, don't fight fire with fire. And it's not necessarily doing that, but it's just kind of being true to yourself. And it's just like, if a situation or someone's action doesn't sit right with you, you need to say why it doesn't sit right with you, whether that's being solution oriented or just freaking going off the handle, like just say it, and then if you have this gut pull that's just like, oh, I feel bad for saying that, you can say that, but be like, that's how I was feeling, like kind of have to reel it back in. But I think that we should not hold things in anymore. And, this year of solitude that we've had for the most part, like has just shown us that people don't give a shit.
They don't.
And, jobs don't give a shit, things don't give a shit. And it's just like, at what point do you start not giving a shit? Hi, my name is Bri'el and I no longer give a shit. So like,
Life
You know what I'm
lesson.
saying? Like, I just can't. And I will probably be the nicest person not giving a shit, but I'm tired.
You know, I felt
Tired.
that. I felt that. I
I'm
felt that.
tired. I'm
I think
tired.
being tired is like a consistent thread of 2021. Like,
Like, there's nothing
I
else
am
I can
tired as
say.
well.
I'm tired. I'm tired.
You know what? And this is I had to explain this to someone the other day. Like, people get upset about things just, and this is an HR thing. Literally, my job is to be empathetic in some situations, be diplomatic in all situations. And I have literally found myself erasing lines out of emails where I want to say, I do not care about this. This is not my issue. This is your issue. But that's really how I have been feeling. Being in HR and hearing other people's issues all day, people complain about the dumbest stuff. I'm over it. I'm tired. Like, that's why I'm off for these 2 weeks. I'm off for these two
She ain't
weeks, you know?
awful.
It's like literally, I have to either care about what's going on with other people at all times or pretend to care. And that's exhausting. People are exhausting.
Yes. The fake it till you make it scenario is exhausting. Like, sometimes you don't, and you don't have the energy to be fake. Like, because I mean, for me, I'm a very empathetic person. Like, if anybody's into astrology, like, I am all water.
Yes.
My sun, my moon, and my rising, all water signs. So I feel very, very deep, and I hold a lot of stuff in and protect others from not saying really how I feel, because I'm not a happy medium person. I'm either all,
Because you're
rainbows
Pisces,
and
right?
yeah, I'm a Pisces.
Oh,
I'm
girl.
Pisces, Scorpio.
Oh,
Yeah.
girl.
So there's no medium for me. It is either or.
No shade to my Scorpio friends, but y'all know y'all crazy. My Pisces, y'all crazy too. You know, I'm an Aries. I'm all fire. And I think that pretty much sums me up. I can be a baby sometimes, but I am all fire in pretty much all aspects of my life. Like, you know me, I'm coming for you, whether I do it quietly or not.
Yes. So, like, when the tide rolls in, it's at an all-time high. Okay. So, like, I don't know what that medium is. So a lot of the times I'm holding it in because I don't know how I'm going to react. And that's not to say that I will fly off the handle, because I have my moments, and those are very rare moments for me. But no, 2022,
just 22,
I'm going
girl.
off.
22.
I'm going off.
Okay.
If I feel it, I'm
Release
saying what's
it.
on
The
my mind.
floodgates are open.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
And we are giving you that grace. This is the year of grace. 22 will give you that grace as well. Yeah. Tell these people about themselves. We're here for it. So we're wrapping up a good year here. And I think the last thing we should touch on, because this is the part we've been avoiding, girl, and taxes. Being business owners, these taxes, it's about to be January. Depending on when we're watching this, it is January. It's tax season. How you getting ready for those taxes? Now, before you say anything, my financial advisor, she's probably listening. I have used Little Fish Accounting. I don't know if you follow them on Instagram. Amazing firm. They've done my taxes the past couple of years. However, they've grown so much, they're no longer going to do my little bitty individual taxes. So now I'm being thrown to the wolves, y'all. They got me together last year, and I was doing really well at keeping things in order. And, so yeah, how are you prepping for your taxes? Because I know what I need to do. I ain't done it yet. But how are you prepping for your taxes?
I'm sorry, what are those?
Listen.
So I've done my personal taxes. That's been easy. I'm an in-app person. And, I've always been straight and narrow. So there's never really been like anything where I'm like, I don't know how to handle this, or, I don't know how to answer this. Like, pretty straightforward. You get your W, whatever. And,
Your W-2s. You get your W-2.
Thank you. You get your W-2. But you know, your child information, and it's just really been simple in the past. So like this year, I'm kind of like freaking out because I feel like it's not going to be simple. And because I'm so small, it's just me. I feel like I'm supposed to probably not do it separate because sole proprietorship, like I can kind of group it all into one. So I'm not tripping, but still, you know, I do want to kind of position myself to where, you know, as, you know, years progress with this business, that I'm able to know how to actually do it correctly.
Well,
So,
I can, not to interrupt, but let me give you a little, you just made me think of something there. From the first time I did it, and I am not a tax advisor by any means, so don't come for me if I say this slightly incorrectly, but like you said, because we are both sole proprietorships or single owner, single member LLCs, the LLC provides some separation and protection. However, it's a disregarded entity, which means you're not filing it separately. You are filing one tax return. However, you do get to deduct certain expenses up to a certain limit. Things like your mileage for your business, things like the software and tools you purchase for your business, the supplies, that kind of thing. That I do remember. But again, I am not a tax advisor. Please go get a CPA. And I used to file my taxes myself, but of course, especially with the whole business thing, or like when I bought my house, I was like, I don't know what to do with this. You know, I started using a professional because things get a little murkier. But yeah, so you've got the right idea. It's like it's a disregarded entity, so it is going to be one. You just get to claim those certain deductions.
Right. So I'm one of those that likes to kind of see the process and go through it myself. And if I have questions, I'll definitely reach out. But I think probably starting next year is when I'm going to really kind of just be like, okay, I need to have this down, or, you know, as I'm going through the process, like, okay, I need to start tracking this. I need to make sure I keep this, or and all of that good stuff. So I'm not tripping, but it is something at the forefront of my mind that I need to kind of get serious about. But that goes back into treating my business like the business it is. Like, what does that look like? And what type of things am I doing? So it's always, you know, a constant learning process that I'm just going to continue to learn. You're never too old to learn. It never stops. So I'm not tripping. Like, it is what it is. There's that Pisces energy. I'm going with the flow.
Yeah. I mean, that's just a really good way to look at it anyway. This is your first year doing it, your first year kind of figuring things out. I think it'll go much smoother next year. And you know, you'll only get better from here. Things are only going up from here because
that's right.
22 is bringing things. 22. The floodgates will be open in 22. You know, it's going to be a year of consistency and discipline and
flourish. And accountability.
Like, oh, not the A word.
I'm, you know, Tiffany is like my savior in many aspects. Like, I'll be thinking of something, I'm like, what do you think about this? Like, what about this? And I think you and I should really do a better job at just like, you know, combining, you know, our powers, like, you know, the whole Captain Planet thing, you know, we put our rings together and showing age, going through content creation, because, you know, we can really like make this big. And I don't know any Georgia notaries that are like on a certain level, and I feel like our powers combined can really be something. So,
you know, I'm here for it.
Accountability for both of us and making sure that we grow together, but also individually.
I'm here for it. And that A word, it is very scary.
I know. It doesn't like,
we know,
make you cringe.
It does. It really does. Because I think that's why I used to keep things a secret. I always say like, oh, I hate working out with people. I do hate working out with other people, but stuff like that accountability partner thing changes things. Like once someone can see what you're doing and what you're not doing, when you said you were going to do it, it changes things. So I'm here for it. I'm here for it. Bringing change in 22, accountability, consistency. I'm here for it. You know, is there anything that you want to tell us? Like, if there's something you could go back and tell yourself last year that you didn't know this year, because, you know, people always ask, like, what would you go back and tell your 18-year-old self? I don't want to know what you would tell her. What would you tell Bri'el last year that would have helped you this year?
Do it without being fearful. Like, just kind of stop being so scary.
Ooh.
Like, stop being so scary, ho. Like, I don't know if anybody else talks to themselves like this, but sometimes you have to.
Yes.
Like, just like do it anyway. Like, just fucking do it. Like, do it. Like, I don't know how else to say it, like how to follow that up, but just do it. Like, it's so funny. Me and my best friends, we met up and we, you know, wrote out our goals and our intentions and everything.
Yeah.
And we tied them to a balloon and we let go of the balloon with everything that we want to achieve for the year. And I have this issue because I'm so, you know, straight and narrow at times. I cannot enter a store through the exit door.
They say, what now?
That bothers me. Like, I can go to Target with my mom and she'll be ready to enter. And I'm like, Mom, that is the exit door. You cannot enter through an exit door. It says exit. You don't go in through an outdoor.
Okay.
And she's just like, Bri'el, like, what does it matter? You're going to the store. But it's something that has always bothered me. And so the other day I was at Publix and I went in through the exit. And I was like, I text my mom, I was like, nothing happened to me.
That is deep.
I'm like, I'm perfectly fine. But it gave me anxiety. Like, I literally, my heart was like palpitating. And I was just like, Bri'el, like, you'll never know what it to put yourself out there if you don't go against the grain. So my practice for 22 is to go against the grain. Like, I'm going in through exit doors.
Damn, Bri'el.
I know.
Listen,
I'm just a wealth of knowledge.
When we said the floodgates would be open in 22, we did not know that it would start with you coming in through the exit door. But it's those little habits,
things,
those little, I don't want to call it a tick, but you know, we all have our ticks.
Yeah.
That is real. We don't necessarily have to get into mine because that's a whole nother. I have so many. I
know of some of yours.
Girl. Oh, how God is funny.
Can I please say one? Because
okay, what is one?
The one about purses on the table.
Oh, listen. Now that's not changing. I'm not changing that. Listen.
Germs. Tiffany's a germaphobe, y'all. It's okay. It's okay.
And it doesn't even make sense because I'm junky a lot of times and in a lot of places. But do not put your purse, your briefcase, your bag, your knapsack, whatever it is, do not put it on my counter. Do not put it on my table. And that is something I got from my mother. We've never been able to put a purse on the table. And so it has happened. I'm not going to say who did it.
I've done it.
She may or may not be on this call.
I've done it. And she's like, ma'am. And I'm like,
it gives me so, I don't even know if it's like anxiety, but it gives me.
It's a form.
It gives me things. It makes me feel things that aren't good, right? And it's something I got from my mom. We just don't put purses and stuff on the table. And I know my friends are always like, this is my Louis Vuitton. It doesn't go on the floor. And I'm like, I don't care. Get it off my table. They go in booths and restaurants. I don't know what it is because I can clean the table, right? Like I can clean the table and I know that. So that's one of those things that triggers a response out of me that's not always like the best reaction to things, but my body cannot handle seeing someone put a purse on the table. But I handled it very well with Miss Bri'el. I did.
She did. But,
I did. I think I froze.
Yeah, you did. But what's funny is like with my grandmother, she never wanted us to put our purses on the floor because that's like the surefire way to lose money. So like, I'm like, well, where else am I supposed to put it?
Yeah.
You know, so it's just like, am I sitting on my lap? That might be uncomfortable in certain situations. So I'm like, when Tiffany's like, don't put your purse up, I'm like, well, what? Like,
I know.
It's really funny.
I think I ended up putting it in the chair.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
But what's the difference between a table and a chair?
Because your ass goes in the chair. Although I like my chairs in a cloth, and anything that goes on my chair gives me anxiety too. It's really why nobody sits at it or sits in those chairs. But the chair I'm okay with. The table, I am not. The counters, I am not.
And that's okay.
I know that one of the things I have to work on that's related to that for 22 is just like, I have control issues. I know I'm a control freak. Friends who are watching this, please don't come for me. We already know that y'all know this, but I try to control everything, and I'm very aware of it, that is a problem, and I'm working on it. But literally my job is to control things like that. I can't control myself.
That's why she's so good at her job, y'all.
But not in my personal life. So when these
compartmentalizing, when you clock out,
I talked about it, right?
Yeah.
So like when certain things happen, like a purse gets put on a table, or God forbid someone licks their effing fingers. All hell is breaking loose. All hell is breaking loose. If you lick your fingers, which you guys, I'm going to put this little personal tidbit in here. I have been single for quite some time, and I asked baby Jesus to send me somebody. And baby Jesus sent me somebody who licked their fingers on our first date. And when I tell you, I almost came across that table. But I told that individual, I said, listen, shit ain't gonna work. You just broke the cardinal rule. Ain't no licking fingers. And in that reaction, they were like, what? I know they think I'm a crazy person till this day, but he stuck around. We still dating, right? But licking fingers, putting purse on the table, we're not going to go into the dark hole of things that drive me crazy, but learning that it will be okay after something happens, learning that I don't have to have a crazy reaction, and practicing, not necessarily like not telling people when things bother me, but saying it in a healthier way, like not flying off the handle and being like, what the F are you looking at your fingers? You know, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
Being calm in 22, you know, and not having to control every little thing around me. Yeah. Despite that being my job. Yeah. My friendships and my relationships are not jobs.
Right? They're not.
So, well, Miss Bri'el out here exposing my secrets. Jesus.
Listen, it's just payback for you coming for me in a YouTube video I was not in, but you was talking about me and had me rolling.
Listen, we're just being real and sharing what people need to know.
I love it.
But you know, I think that I've kidnapped you long enough today. And I know you got things to do because you got a full calendar, you know, so I want to basically say that we're going to do this more often. Because like you said, this consistency, this accountability is something that we're going to partner up on. This right here, this notary stamp, it has done a lot for us personally and professionally, right? It's changed some things. Is there anything you want to say to the people before we log off until next time?
Thanks for watching. If there's anything you want both of us to talk about, you know, I'm always down to get on a YouTube video with Tiffany. I'm happy to do it. Yes. But just stay, I don't think unfearful is a word, but
it can be today.
Just go for it.
Fearless. That's the word.
Yeah, there we go. Fearless. Just go for it. Whatever it is, go for it. Fantastic. We've been shown that life is just, you don't know what's going to happen day after day. Just do it. Just do it.
Yes. And where can the people find you? Where do you want them to come? To Instagram?
Instagram is my favorite. So come on over to Instagram. I'm at East Atlanta Notary. You might see my personal handle occasionally. And if you find it, then good for you.
And if you want an easy way to find her, I'll drop East Atlanta Notary in the description for those of you watching this on YouTube so you can get to her. I'll also put my pitch handle down there. I'll kind of reference anything that we talked about, and then, you know, come follow us, come support. We really do enjoy having these kinds of open conversation, and we enjoy sharing our journeys with you. So we'll see you all next time. We appreciate you listening or watching, and we'll see you in 22.
Yes. Happy New Year. Woo!
Happy New Year. We're going to pop the champagne tonight. Yes, ma'am. So we'll see you all next time. Y'all stay safe out here.
Bye.